and he'll be included as well. So that's next Thursday. I still don't have the schedules yet. There's still 2 Thursdays we're juggling like this. The new president of Snow College wants to speak, but he's trying to adjust his schedule, and there's someone else will have to change with that one. So I hope next week to have your schedules for the entire semester. Until then, I'll be telling you what's coming up at least. Please take out your cell phones and turn those off. Don't forget, you signed a contract saying that you wouldn't use electronic devices, including cell phones, etc. So please turn those off for today's presentation. If you have questions about the class, if you need to add the class still, this class can still be added until 12 o'clock next Thursday. You can miss 2 Thursdays. Last Thursday doesn't count. Whoever hasn't taken the class yet is going to miss today, but we don't like to add people after 2 because then they don't have a chance to miss any of the others. So if you have any friends, roommates, or whomever, encourage them. They can still add until 12 o'clock next Thursday. All right, thanks for coming today, and today's a big celebration. The Learn, Earn, and Intern Summer Jobs and Careers is happening today over until 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock in the GNST. Anyone been there yet today? Good, I hope you all got high-paying jobs with extra benefits for the summer. But to hear more about that and something that's on, I hope, all of your minds, about what's going on with the jobs and the jobs fair, we have a panel discussion today. And to introduce the panel discussion, I'd like to present the person who is in charge of the natural resource, what do you call that program?
Just Natural Resources Program.
Natural Resources Program, Chad Hymas. Thanks, Chad. Thanks, everybody.
All right, well, thank you for having us. Again, I am Chad Dewey, Natural Resources Director, and I'm excited to be here. So what I want to do is I'm pretty much just the moderator. So these are okay. Can you hear me now? All right. So anyway, I'm just going to introduce the following people. We'll give them 5 or 10 minutes. They're going to talk about their agencies. These are federal and state agencies, or federal meaning, or state agencies can also be here at Snow College since we're funded through the state. And then we will, after that, I want you to write down your questions and think of what you're going to ask. And once they're all done, then we will have a question and answer session until 20 after, and we'll go from there. So to start with, Forrest is here with the Division of Wildlife Workforce Services, Division of Workforce Services, and I will let him have 5-10 minutes and explain kind of what he does, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. My name is Forrest Turner. I'm a Workforce Development Specialist with the Utah Department of Workforce Services. I'm actually based out of the Richfield office, and I've been with the department for about 7 years. Some of the careers I'm going to talk about today, one of them I actually started at myself when I began my employment with the state as an employment counselor. I worked doing that job for about 3 years, and then ever since then I've been able to be a workforce development specialist. In my job, I get a great opportunity to work with job seekers and to go out and connect with employers throughout central and southern Utah. So it's a great opportunity to work with people and to help people connect with employment opportunities. And so, let's see, can I just go down here on this one? Yep, okay. So to give you an idea of what I'm going to be talking about in the few minutes that I have with you, these are kind of the bullet points that I want to kind of go over with you. And so I want to go over, some of the basic things that we do at Workforce Services, and then I want to spend a little bit of time about talking on how you would actually come work for us, if that's something that you would like to do in your career. So talking about the labor exchange system, this has to do with helping you find a job. So we have a website out there, jobs.utah.gov, and on the next slide, just so you know, I'm going to have all these web addresses that I'm going to mention today, but jobs.utah.gov is basically our hub. It's our homepage where you can go, you can register and create an account on that website, and you can see jobs that employers have posted throughout the state of Utah. Now this comes in handy for you guys because when you're finished with your career, your education here at Snow, if you're transferring to another college to finish your 4-year and you're looking for a job in wherever it is that you're moving in Utah, this can help connect you to employment opportunities in wherever it is that you're going to. So that's a good feature. But there's also a lot of good jobs on here that maybe just in what you guys are studying now. So you might be able to find something in your field on our website there. Training services is kind of the next thing I want to hit on really quickly. So when you go to school, we all know we have bills we have to pay. We have tuition and different costs associated with going to school. The Department of Workforce Services has funding available through different sources that could help pay for some of that schooling. It's short-term assistance, usually up to 2 years. And so what you do is you apply on our website. Once you have your account registered, there's a link to apply for training services. And then you meet with an employment counselor that will sit down and talk with you, kind of one-on-one, and talk about what your goals are, why you're needing the help, how much help you think you're going to need, and all those kind of things, and determine if you're eligible for the program and what kind of help and assistance we can be to you. So that's a really good resource to keep in mind and remember about. Utah Futures and My Next Move. Just by show of hands and out of curiosity, how many of you guys have heard of these two sites or done anything with that in school? Okay, I see a few hands out there. That's great. So Utah Futures, what that is a website where you can go and find out about a lot of different careers. So you could type in an accountant, for example, and you could see the job duties of an accountant, the type of training that's required to be an accountant, and this is an A to Z index, so you have a lot of different things you can look at that way. They also have interest inventories, so you can take an interest, see what a lot of your interests are that way, and do those kind of profiles. And you can actually create an account on this system as well that will keep track of all the results. So when you do these inventories and it says, okay, here is what your interests are, and here are some careers that a lot of people who have similar interests seem to enjoy and find success in. It keeps track of all that in a portfolio for you, so it's a really good service. My Next Move is really fantastic because it allows you to search for careers based on things like maybe you don't know what the job title is, but you know what you'd like to do. So you enter in just a few different words about maybe like helping people, for example, and it will bring you up a list of helping careers where you have an opportunity to interact with the public and to help people. So that's a good source as well. The other thing I like about My Next Move is once you select a career category, you can actually go to check out my state, and so you can pull up for Utah and say, okay, what jobs are posted on websites right now for this field? So it helps connect you with specific opportunities for what you're interested in looking at doing. Okay, I want to talk really quick about Smart Start. Now, Smart Start is a wonderful publication that we put out, and it's got a lot of resources in there about how to prepare for an interview, things you want to be aware of when you fill out a job application, when you put together a cover letter, and all those kind of things. There's a lot of helpful tips and hints that you can use. And the Smart Start Guide, we have a few of these available at our table over there in the Student Center, so if you want one of these, we can get you one. It's also available on jobs.utah.gov in a PDF file that you can access as well. And this is one of those resources that you could hang on to, and realistically, you could use it a lot of different parts, a lot of different places in your career path as you grow and develop in your career. Because these things about your resume and how to interview and all those things, they're tried and true principles. It's always good to go back and review those and remember those as you're, looking at different opportunities in your career. So a couple different things, and then I'll sit down. So people always ask, so how do you get on to work for the state of Utah, and where are the openings right now? So anytime you want to see a state of Utah job, the website is utah.gov, and there's actually a full website, but if you go to utah.gov, that's the state of Utah's website, and you can access the employment section. And through there, you can see all the jobs that any state agency for Utah has open at that particular time. And so, periodically you'll find some down here in our area too, in Richfield and Ephraim and Manti and some of those places. There's a lot of good opportunities with the state. They usually offer a really good benefits package. It's good employment, and if you really like to help people, it's one of those great helping careers where you can really help make a difference in people's lives. And so finally, the last thing I'm going to tell you is about how to find the DWS office nearest you. So we have offices in every county in the state. And on jobs.utah.gov, you can actually click a link that says Find the Employment Center, and you can type in a zip code or click on the name of a city, and you can find where the closest employment center is to you. Just kind of to let you guys know, the closest employment center to us here is in Manti. It's there in the county building there at 55 Southeast Main. And we have a great staff there that's dedicated to help you guys any way that you can. I mentioned that I'm from the Richfield office, but the other guy, his name's Todd, who's over at the booth with me in the Student Center, he is from the Manti office. So we'll do whatever we can to help you guys because we want to be successful. And just, remember that we're there. So you get to different places in your life. If you have questions or things you think we can help at, stop by or give us a call. We'd love to help you any way that we can. So finally, whoops, I did something. Okay, cancel it, they say. Whoop. And then, what's the clicker on that one? There we go. Guess we probably don't want to hit updates. There we go. Okay, let's see if I can just go down one. And how do I get it to? Okay, there we go. And so down there at the bottom, so statejobsposting.utah.gov, that is where you can find the state employment opportunities. Utah Futures we talked about is utahfutures.org, mynextmove.org there. And of course there at the top, jobs.utah.gov. That's our hub, that's our homepage, and find a lot of information there. So anyway, I hope the information has been helpful to you. Look forward to talking to you guys today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Forrest, for that. Next, we'll move to Scott Matthey. Scott Matthey is the Resident Life Coordinator for Leadership Development and Training for the Office of Resident Life and Snow College. At Snow College, he oversees the student staff, resident assistants, also known as RAs, and resident directors, trains them how to be successful leaders for students in residence life. Students who fill these positions gain valuable skills that will guarantee them success in whatever career they pursue. Give your life an upgrade, be an RA. All right, that is Scott, and I'll let him explain a little more.
All right, thanks guys. First thing I want you to do, I want you to look to your right, look to your left, see which of your neighbors is sleeping, and go ahead and elbow them. Wake them up a little bit. I promise it'll be worth it. Stick with me for like 5 minutes, and then you can go back to your days. But I know what it's like for convocations, so bump your neighbor, wake them up a little bit, and maybe you can learn something. I'm going to give you a guarantee that if you come and work for me as a resident assistant, you will be catapulted into success no matter where you go after you leave Snow College. That's my promise to you. That's my goal for everyone that's a resident assistant, that because they were a resident assistant at Snow College, when they leave, they're going to be better for it. So whatever career you're going to go into, whatever occupation, whatever school you're going to transfer to, you'll have enough experience that your success will be growing exponentially because of your experience. So that's my promise. Guarantee yourself success, be an RA. A resident assistant, that's our student leadership position in our on-campus residence halls. Some of you might live there, some of you might know where they are. The resident assistant purpose, this is a long one, but the point of it is that resident assistants make the places where students live fun, enjoyable, safe, comfortable, and places where people want to be. And so that's the main goal of the resident assistants. The ways that we do that, we try to build community. What we mean by that is that where you live in the residence hall, it's a fun place to be. There's always something going on. There's always something for you to do. There's somewhere for you to study. We have support services for that so that we can help you. So resident assistants, you'll plan activities for the residence halls. Just last night in one of our residence halls, we had a big pizza party with a game night kind of thing. We had over 20 boxes of pizza. There were about 150 people there to just enjoy life, play games, and hang out. And so that's what we like to do frequently. And as a resident assistant, you'll be in charge of that. So we try to have fun, and we try to have you be a friend with some of the residents that you'll get to know. It is a student leadership position. Now, there's other student leadership positions on campus that you can do as a student at Snow College. This is what I like to call the all-in-one student leadership position. If you want to plan activities for students to go to and have something to do, you can do that in the residence halls. If you want to go out and recruit for people to come to Snow College, I'll take you with me on recruiting trips during the spring semesters that you can go out and try and get more people to come. If you want a resume building leadership experience, I'll give that to you. And the cool thing about being a resident assistant, it's a nationally recognized student leadership position. So no matter where you go, whatever job you're going to go apply for after this, having the name resident assistant on your resume is going to make you pop. It's going to help you get that job wherever you go. As a leader, you're a positive influencer, and we want you to care about your residents. Just look out for them. If you see somebody struggling, let's see how we can help them. That's the whole point of why we have resident assistants. Also, as a leader, like I said, you want to be an example for the residents. And just like anywhere you live, where you probably live right now, there are rules of what you can and can't do and that kind of stuff, the major things. The golden rule is no matter what you do, everyone should be comfortable with it. And so as a resident assistant, you might have to ask somebody to smoke outside instead of the building because that's the rule. You know, you're not the police, but you still help everybody feel comfortable in the residence halls. Of course, we try to emphasize that you be the kind of leader that you want to follow. And I'm a firm believer of that. I try to be the leader that I would want to follow for you, and then I expect you to do that as a resident assistant for the residents that you lead. Some of the other stuff, compensation, I know you all want to hear about that. As a resident assistant, you get free rent. We'll give you a private bedroom within an apartment, and so that's about $1,200 a semester. You don't have to pay the rent, I'll pay it for you. And so free rent for the entire academic year. You get money for a meal card to use at the cafeteria or at the bookstore. Go buy your books, go buy your school supplies. I'm trying to help you with that, and so we'll give you money to use that way. You also get a $350 scholarship for the year, and so there's lots of benefits. If we can crunch the numbers and say that resident assistant's the highest paid student position, you know, we can do that kind of stuff. But what I want you to understand is that you have, by being a resident assistant, you're guaranteed for that success. That's my promise to you. If you invest your time to be a resident assistant, then you will benefit from that. So to pick up an application, you can do that at our table. It's in the GSC. We've got a big popcorn machine, so go get some popcorn. We've got a cool game to test your skills. It's a cup stack game. See how fast you can build a pyramid of cups. So come see us, pick up an application. They're due February 7th. And then we'll start our interview process. The last thing I'll say, we will have time after we all present for questions, but tonight, if you want to get more questions or pick up an application then, I'm going to have an interest meeting in the GSC. I'm in one of the rooms off the common area. We'll have a sign that'll help you get there. But at 5:30 tonight, you can be able to go, and it'll be an interest meeting. I'll have some of my current resident assistants there to answer your questions, and I'll be there to answer your questions. And so if you need to leave early, you have a class at 6, that's fine. Come at 5:30, get the basic info, pick up an application, and then take off. But I'll be there to answer any questions that you might have. But like I said, a resident assistant, it'll change your life. It'll help you grow into your career a lot quicker than others who don't take that opportunity. I know it because I was an RA. And I feel like at my stage in life, I'm farther along than other people because I was an RA. And so because it worked for me, I know it can work for you. So pick up an application today and turn it in by February 7th and let yourself succeed for the rest of your time here at Snow College. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Okay, for our last panelist, we have Diane Cote. She is a silviculturist, and I will let her explain what that means. And she is with the Forest Service here in Ephraim. So we'll turn the time to her.
You turn up the lights. I don't have any fancy PowerPoints. I knew this would happen. Oh, yeah, wait, this has to be shorter. Yes, thank you. Yes, my name is Diane Cote, and I have 38 years with the Forest Service. Yes, one time I was just like you, student in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I graduated in '76, so that tells you how old I am. I love what I do. I've worked for the Forest Service for 38 years, never wanted to do anything else. And I was a big town girl. I grew up in New York City, and this is the biggest town I've lived in most of my career, in Ephraim. What I'd like to say is the great thing about the Forest Service, if you're not an outdoor person and you're not a small town person, we still have jobs in cities. And Salt Lake, Washington, or Portland, Seattle. You can work in big towns, you can work in little towns, you can work indoors, you can work out, and you can work half and half. Unfortunately, the higher up you get, the less outside you get. The best thing I can remember about my early part of my career is every day was a picnic in the woods. You go out and work, hike, see wildlife, have lunch out in the woods by a stream with a good view. I learned to drive four-wheel drives because I was a city kid. I didn't know any of that. If any of you ever saw Lassie with the Forest Ranger on Animal Planet, I've just about done everything he ever did on that show except jump out of a perfectly good plane. I've gone on fires. I've fought fires on the line. I still go on fires, and I'm almost 60. And but I go in camp and I do support things, make sure people have supplies and things they need on fires. There's almost no limits to the type of job you can find in the Forest Service or the BLM. You can work clerical, accounting, map, computer stuff, watersheds, soils, forestry, range, wildlife, geology. We even have oil and gas expertise over in Price, and we have the coal mines. We have geologists that work with coal mines. I can't even think of all the different career paths you can have in the government. And one of the great things about working for the government, even though you're never going to get rich, is you get days off, you get sick leave, you get holiday pay, and you can have a life outside of work. And believe me, as much as I love my job, I love outside of work just as much. So I'll be available for questionings. We have a lot of summer openings, so you can get a taste of it. We have a table over at the common room, in the commons over there. Please come and talk to us. And if you miss us or you can't get there today, come into the Forest Service office. You can get either the people that work for me or me personally, and we'll help you all we can. Thank you.
Okay. I'm not that tall, but got to move it up a little bit. So what we're going to do now, I want to talk a little bit about my program. Why am I here? And then we'll leave some time to ask some questions. And so with my program, I've actually been here about a year and a half, and I focus on a 2-year degree with natural resources, or you get a that's designed to be work ready, so you get a job when you're done, or you move on to a 4-year or more and then get a job in something natural resources. So a lot of people think natural resources is, a lot of people don't know what natural resources are. Others think more mining, oil and gas, rocks, those kind of things. Pretty much natural resources in general is things outdoors, okay? So I want to hear, I can see you guys fairly well if I squint. I want you to raise your hand if you enjoy doing things outdoors, in the mountains, lakes, rivers, things like that. Okay, I bet I see 75% or more with your hands in the air. When I was your age, I thought I wanted to be a dentist. Okay, why did I think I wanted to be a dentist? Because going through school, I thought I did decent in school, and I thought they make good money. Why don't I be a dentist? Okay, I started going to school, and I got this statistic, and I don't even know where it was or how true it was, but it said that dentists are one of the higher careers with the higher rates of suicide than any career. Okay, now if you're thinking of being a dentist, don't freak out. You can make your own decisions, okay? But to me, I started thinking, that's interesting. I wonder why. And for me, I thought, well, why do I want to be a dentist? And what the number one reason for me is because I thought they paid well, okay? So I started thinking, well, if there's high suicide rates, then maybe that's not the only thing that I should look for in a career. And so then that's when I started exploring and ended up being where I'm at right now. But I just wanted to touch a few ideas with you. And my biggest goal today is to help you choose something that you enjoy. Okay? And there are plenty of people that enjoy being dentists. But now looking back, I know I would not have enjoyed that. And so what I want you to think about is, what do I enjoy doing? And like Diane said, I hope you actually enjoy your job. And at the same time, I hope you have a life outside of your job that you can enjoy just as well. For my career, I have done private industry, and I've worked out pretty much in the mountains. So anyone here, again, I'll squint, anyone here know what shed hunting is, or looking for sheds is? Raise your hand. Okay. Who here, I guess if you've heard about it, you probably enjoy it. Keep your hands up if you enjoy it. Okay. So, let me see if I can get... I probably should have... I tell you, these dang Macs they aren't good for me. Well, never mind. I won't give you a picture. The point is, I was in the mountains all day long. I was looking for weeds. But I'm a big shed hunter. Sheds are antlers, so deer and elk drop their antlers every year. And throughout the whole summer, I walked around in the mountains looking for weeds, and on top of it, looking for sheds. To me, that's what people take days off of work to do. And I got to do it as a job. Now, I'm not saying everything's glorious and that every single day of my job I just absolutely loved. I don't think there's too many jobs out there that there's not some negatives to them. But I actually did enjoy my job. And with that, in natural resources, there's actually a lot of jobs that make good money. If you want to go more, like Diane said, in the federal state jobs, they don't really start you out with a lot of money, but they're very good benefits and very good job quality. But there's also things in private industry that do make really good money. And so as far as that goes, I guess what I want to go is, don't make money be the only factor as far as what types of jobs you're going to do. All right, so with that, what did I just do? I'm going to give up on that thing. All right, so we'll turn the time now to question and answer. Before that, I wanted to make sure we thank Lisa. Lisa Laird is the Career Services Specialist, and she's basically made this whole thing happen. She made the fair happen, get all of those that are interested. If you have any questions with having her help you with resumes, apply for jobs online, anything like that, she's the one that you would go to. And so now I want some questions. Probably let's do it where you can just stand up and I'll point to you and then just talk really loud. So we've got, I'm not going to, even if no one asks questions, I'm going to make you stay for at least 10 minutes. So it'll be silent awkwardness for 10 minutes unless we ask a question. Okay, way in the back.
Hey, Scott. What kind of opportunities do you have in RA? Like, what kind of training is there?
So let's do this.
So what kind of opportunities, what was the last part? Oh, training? Training? Okay. Okay. As a resident assistant, we hold some trainings before every semester. And what that training is for, it's one, to prepare you to be a resident assistant. You need to know the basic rules of the job, know your expectation as a resident assistant, what I expect of you. But then also part of my job and part of my title is professional development. And so that's where the guarantee comes in, that you'll be more successful because you're an RA. I'm going to teach you how to be a leader that not only can just lead a group of students as an RA, but that can be a leader for the rest of your life no matter what you do. So we'll talk about being an influencing person. We'll talk about how to get better grades. We'll talk about scheduling. We'll talk about how to overcome whatever it is that you're working on. You'll become a better person because of our trainings. We have a lot of fun. There's intense parts because sometimes there's intense parts to the job, just like any other job. But we try to have a lot of fun. We try to play a lot of games, go on trips, eat good food, that kind of stuff. But there's definitely fun opportunities for training. It requires a little bit more of your time, but it's definitely worth it. Does that answer your question? Awesome, thanks.
Okay. Next question. Okay, right there.
Artistic opportunities. That's a good question. Thank you. So part of residence life that we do at Snow College, we have what we call living learning communities, which means the entire building of a residence hall is dedicated towards a particular whatever we decide it'll be. So we have a residence hall that's for fine arts majors, where it's full of art students, music students, anything related in that particular realm. Over the course of the next year, we actually have a goal to paint a mural in that residence hall. And the RAs that are in that building will kind of spearhead that in coming up with the ideas for it, the manpower for it, the design and that kind of stuff. But then also outside of that, for artistic, if you're good at that kind of stuff and designing things, painting and whatever, we'll use that in some of our advertising, and you'll be able to help us make advertisements for our residence halls and use your creative juices that way. And so there's definitely opportunity for that you can use to help you further on down the road.
All right. Yes, that's my name, yes. Okay, good questions. Why are dentists suicidal, and why was I looking for weeds? Those are both actually great questions. I am not the expert on why dentists are suicidal, and I'm not spreading rumors that dentists are suicidal, okay? All I'm doing is I found some statistics somewhere that said that they have a higher suicide rate. My personal belief is this. If I were to have gone into dentistry, it's not something that fits me well, because I don't like being crammed in a building all day long, okay? And what do? They're crammed in a building all day long looking at this big of a person's mouth or body for their whole life. I can't think of something now that would, for me personally, be more monotonous or boring. Personally, I love dentists, don't get me wrong. Okay? I just don't want to be one. That's why, I guess. Why was I looking for weeds? Okay, so in natural resources, weeds are pretty much a plant that is not wanted. So your animals don't eat it well, or it crowds out other things that you want and things like that. So one of my big jobs was Antelope Island, and they wanted to know what weeds do we have and where, so that they could actually in the future get rid of them. And so I just walked the mountains back and forth with a GPS unit, and I said, here's a weed, here's how big it is, and this is the type of weed, and then I gave them a map saying, here you go. Here's a map of everything you have, and then they can say, well, we want to get rid of this one by doing this and this and that. That make sense? Okay. So but I guess my point, one of the slides, and I probably should just learn how to use those Macs, but one of the slides I showed is there's a person at BYU doing studies, and they're doing field mice, okay? If you went home and said, Mom, I'm going to have a career studying field mice, she'd probably look at you like, are you serious? There's no money out there for that. But what they do is they get, anyone here use those wristbands that light up? You crack them open and they light up in the dark. They're non-heat. They don't have any heat, right? Glow sticks. There we go. Thank you. That's what they're called. Glow sticks. The stuff inside of glow sticks, mice eat in the dark. That's when they start going out and feed. And so they wanted to study what they eat and where and how. So their solution was get a bag of the glow stick powder, shake mice up in the bag, and then let them go and watch them. So I have a picture, and anyway, you can just imagine. Basically, they just watch the mouse go along all day. Who on earth here has thought, I could make a living shaking up mice and watching them at night? I guarantee none of you. Okay? So there's a lot of jobs out there, and if you have any interest in anything, you can find a job in that. There's pluses and minuses, and maybe you'll love one and you won't make as much money, but then there's other ones you might not make more, but there's always opportunities, and that's kind of the thing in natural resources especially, but in all fields, there are so many things that you can do as a profession that you've never heard about. So that's a long answer to your two questions. Okay, anyone else? We've still got, I told you I wasn't going to let you out at least till 10 after, and it's 2 more minutes, so we at least have to have one more. Over here.
That's a great question. When I was an RA, my favorite part, you know, there's plus and minuses. There's going to be hard days. There's going to be a lot of fun days. I had a lot of fun days, and getting to know students and that kind of thing was definitely one of the fun days. It was cool because, like, I'm really focused on my schoolwork and that kind of types of thing, and so sometimes I'm not the biggest social butterfly. But being an RA, that, like, dedicated time for me to be social. That was what I was supposed to do when I was working, so that really helped. But the overall benefit, I really invested my time in learning how to be a good leader as a resident assistant, and so because of the things that I learned from, like, my fellow RAs, my supervisor at the time, helped me grow to where now, like, I could stay with my job as a career for the rest of my life and be happy with that. And I'm not very old. So that's definitely that was my favorite part, I would say, is just it boosted me to enter a career type job earlier than I would have thought I would have had to. So that was my favorite part.
Okay, right there.
Okay, they are messing with us again this year. Right now is the time to apply for all fire positions. You have till probably end of next week or the end of January at the most. We have dates on those. The non-fire jobs will start, the announcement should come out the beginning of February, and you're only going to have anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to apply. If you really want a job, you want to get a hold of us, make sure we have your email, your phone, and you're going to have to be bugging us because we don't have the announcement number yet because they threw a whole new system at us again. And if you want a job, bug the crap out of us. Come into the office. I don't mind because my shop alone is hiring 5 people, and we want good ones.
All right, good question. Anyone else? Right here.
Well, you got to understand, when I first started, I had no clue what I was doing, and I was scared to death. That was my first year in '74. And they left me alone on a part of the line, and I thought I was going to die because it wasn't doing anything. I was in a safe place, but I didn't know. But over the years, with training, working with some good people who taught me, I got so I could do it. I mean, I could go out there and slog for 3 weeks, back in the day when we used to go out for 3 weeks and work 16-hour days and make piles of money. And at this point in my life, I don't really like to dig holes in the ground because I'm almost 60. But I still go out on fires. I've spent 6 weeks, the last 2 years, on the ground in my air mattress, either camping or on fires. So, and I've probably averaged about $15,000 in overtime each year. I love going. You know, you go out, you do the job, and you come home, and you're done with it. Unlike your regular job where it keeps following you. You know, things never go away. So it's cool. But there are jobs that don't require to be out there digging line. There's other positions. So, you know, if you don't figure you're into the manual labor or you're big and buff, but you got to realize, back when I did it on the line, I was probably 110 pounds. And maybe I couldn't work as much as the guys could, but I could keep up with the guys. And I did the best I could.
Good question. Anyone else? Last chance. Okay, well, before you stand up, don't get too excited. I just want to again thank Lisa. Lisa, are you around? Where is she? Way in the back. Okay, well, let's give her a round of applause for getting this all together. And again, if you're interested in jobs, especially these, and there's also, I think, a total of 12 people that are, 12 booths that are there in the Student Center. Make sure you go and check those out. And I think that's it. So thanks for coming.